Welcome back, everyone. This is our old school deck simulator. Yesterday's video we saw a Lion Dib Bolt deck take down a mono green budget friendly deck. So today's matchup is going to be the mono blue Merfolk deck that we looked at last week on the video on the channel. And we'll see how it fares against the mono blue budget. The Lion Dib Bolt deck will take a bye this round and we'll play the winner of this match. If you recall, we were running Lord of Atlantis and Merfolk Assassin and Dance of Many along with Boomerang in this mono blue deck. We've only done a Goldfish on the channel. We haven't done an actual simulator match. So today's game is going to be these two budget decks. I think they're both under $100 to $200, very affordable. We're trying to decide if one of them is better deck to take with us to Las Vegas for GP MagicCon Vegas this year. Hope everyone's doing well and enjoying the content. That's pretty well shuffled. We'll do a quick cut. And then also this is the green deck that we played yesterday. We'll stay on the right side for the green deck. And we'll cut that as well. Now we'll draw 7. We'll see who gets to go first. I'm using the same sleeves just because they're easy to interchange all my decks with. We'll roll. We'll let the mono blue call odds, and it's evens. So the green deck will go first this time. We'll check and see if we have lands and spells. We sure do. We're definitely going to be casting Lord of Atlantis and copying that. Love it. Green deck has forests and soul ring, so we're definitely going to keep that. We'll take the play. We'll start with a forest. We can also cast nothing else. All we can cast is this soul ring, which is the best card in Magic. And pass the turn. Let's do that. All right, so mono blue Merfolk draws a card. We drew another Lord of Atlantis. We're going to start by drawing and playing an island. Can we cast anything? We can't because all of our blue spells are double blue. So we're gonna hope that they're not on some sort of land destruction, or we'll never be able to cast any permanents. We'll pass the turn. We'll untap and draw a card. Desert Twister is 4 colorless and 2 green, so that's gonna take a while to play. We can play another land though, so we can play a forest. But we do have the Soul Ring, so we could cast Desert Twister fairly soon. We could also cast 2 of these creatures. We're gonna go ahead and cast one of the Emerald Dragonflies because it's a colorless and a green, and we're gonna cast the Sentinel Druid for a colorless and a green. So we'll tap Soul Ring for 2 colorless. We'll tap 2 forests for 2 green, and we're gonna use that for a Sentinel Druid and a 1/1 flying Emerald Dragonfly. Pretty good start there for the green deck. We'll pass, we'll draw. We can play our second island, which we're going to use to cast this Lord of Atlantis, which is a 2/2 Merfolk Lord. We'll tap this 90 degrees, play our Lord, pass the turn over to the green deck, untap, draw. Giant Growth, that's pretty cool. Let's go ahead and let's see here. Yeah, we'll save the Giant Growth. Let's actually will not even attack because they're gonna kill if they block. Actually, we could probably do that. We can probably swing for 2. 1 on the ground, 1 in the air. And since we're still at 20 life, the mono blue deck is just gonna take 2 damage. We'll just go to 18. And then on the second main phase, we're gonna tap Soul Ring and 2 forests for 2 colorless and 2 green, and we're gonna cast 2 more Emerald Dragonflies untapped like that. So now we have an army of 1/1 green creatures, which is exactly what we want. We kind of need a Pendlehaven to give them +1/+2. We'll keep this Desert Twister, which we can play once we get 2 more mana sources, and then this Giant Growth which we can surprise our opponent with when we attack or block. Let's go ahead and untap the islands, draw a card. We have a clone. Let's play another islands. We have 3 islands. This deck does not have any islands yet, but let's try this. Let's tap 2 islands. Let's go ahead and try Dance of Many. So that creates I'll read it once again. For 2 blue, it's an enchantment. When Dance of Many is brought into play, you choose a target summon card in play. We're going to choose Lord of Atlantis. And then you put a token creature into play that treat it as if it is brought an exact copy of the target summon card into play. If Dance of Many leaves play, you remove the token creature from the game, and if token creature leaves play, Dance of Many is destroyed. And you also have to pay 2 blue during your upkeep, or Dance of Many is destroyed. We'll use these copy tokens by David Palumbo. We're going to copy this Lord, which means we have 2 Lord of Atlantises now, which makes them 3/3 Merfolk because they pump each other and give Island Walk. So what we could do is we can attack with the first one and see what our opponent wants to do. We will go ahead and do that. We're going to attack with 1 Lord of Atlantis, which is a 3/3. Since we haven't had any damage yet, we're just going to take 3, go to 17. Save our army of emerald dragonflies. And then we'll pass the turn over here. We'll untap Druid. It gains 1/1 for each artifact, which not enchantments. We'll draw a card. We have a regrowth, but nothing in the graveyard. Cannot cast Desert Twister yet. We can cast Giant Growth at some point when we need to pump and save one of our creatures. So we'll save the Druid. We're just going to attack with these 3 Emerald Dragonflies in the air. We can also give them first strike, but this blue deck doesn't have any blockers, so it's going to take 3 damage down to 15. We're going to pass the turn over here. Untap on the upkeep. We're going to decide if we're going to pay the 2 blue for Dance of Many or not. And let's just say we're not going to do that. Let's just say Dance of Many goes to the graveyard. As the token leaves play, we'll draw a card. We grabbed a clone, which costs 4 mana, which we can now play because we're going to play this islands. We have 4 mana sources. We can also tap. What we're going to do is tap 2 blue to play another Lord of Atlantis. So we have 2 Lords of Atlantis. So now they pump each other. They're both 3/3 Island Walkers. I wish we had a magical hack to make one of their forests an island, but we can also cast Dance of Many with this other 2 blue, just like we did last turn, and we'll create a copy token of this Lord of Atlantis. So now we have 3 Lord of Atlantises. They are now 4/4s. So we're gonna attack with one of them, 4/4 Island Walker. This over here, we're gonna block with this Druid, but we're also gonna pump it. We're gonna tap this forest for green. We're gonna Giant Growth the Sentinel Druid to make it a 4/4, which is the exact same as this Lord of Atlantis. And they're both going to trade and die. So this Lord of Atlantis goes to the graveyard. We still have a Lord and a copy and a Dance of Many enchantment. Now we're going to pass the turn over here to the mono green deck. They're going to draw. We got a Whirling Dervish and a Regrowth. I think we will, let's go ahead, could regrow the Giant Growth. Instead, we're just going to move to combat. We're going to swing with 3 in the air like we did last time. This mono blue will be at 12. And then we're going to tap 2 green. And we're going to cast a Whirling Dervish, which is a 1/1 Dervish. It has protection from black. And you put a 1/1 counter on Dervish at end of the turn in which it damages an opponent. So if it gets through, we're going to pump it up each turn. We'll pass the turn over here. We have to untap. On the upkeep, we're going to decide if we want to pay the 2 for Dance of Many or boomerang it and lose the copy. think we're okay to lose it because we have 2 copies of clones in our hand as well. We want to cast clone. So let's go ahead and not pay a Dance of Many. We're going to lose the copy again, but we'll draw a card. We got a Drafna's Restoration, which is a sorcery, and you can take any number of artifacts from your opponent's graveyard, put it on the top of their library. The mono green deck does not have any artifacts in the graveyard yet until we destroy the Soul Ring, so that card is not going to be super helpful. But we can tap 4 blue, 1 blue and 3 colorless. Technically, we're going to clone the Lord of Atlantis. Upon summoning, clone acquires all characteristics, including color, of any 1 creature in play on either side. Any creature enchantments on the original creature are not copied. Clone retains these characteristics even after the original creature is destroyed. Clone cannot be summoned if there are no creatures in play, so we'll have another Lord of Atlantis that they pump each other, so they'll be both 3/3 Island Walkers. We're going to swing with the Summoning Sickness Lord, and this, we're just going to take the 3 and go down to 14. We are not worried. We want to pump our Whirling Dervish next time if we can. So then we'll pass the turn. We're tapped out. Untap the Swarm of Dragonflies and the Forests. We will draw a card. We drew Llanowar Elves. Awesome. Tap the Forest for green. Play the Llanowar Elves, which also gives us green mana. We could also regrow. We're 1 mana short of Desert Twister, so we'll hang tight. We're going to swing in the air with these 3 Dragonfly. Put this player at 9. And then if we attacked with Whirling Dervish, I don't think it counts if it damages a creature, so it has to attack. It has to damage the opponent. So we're going to pass the turn. Untap the Lord. Untap the islands. Draw for turn. It's another island. Perfect. We'll play the island. Let's just go ahead and tap 4 again. We're going to clone the Lord of Atlantis. So now we have 3 Lord of Atlantises. They all pump each other 1/1. So now we have a 4/4, 4/4, 4/4 Lord of Atlantis is on our side with Island Walk, but the green deck does not have any islands and no artifacts in the graveyard. So that's all we can do. We can move to combat though. We can attack with 2 4/4 Lord of Atlantises and see what our opponent can do. We're going to actually take 8 damage here. We're going to take 4 and 4 more and go to 6. And then we'll pass the turn, untapping our Dragonflies. Untap our Forest, draw a card. Script Sprites, now we have some chump blockers. That's pretty cool. Why don't we go ahead and I'm just going to tap this. Let's go to combat. Let's go to combat. We're going to swing with 3 Emerald Dragonflies in the air. That's going to put this also at 6. It's going to get pretty interesting here. We're going to tap a green for a Script Sprites. And let's tap Soul Ring for colorless and a Forest for green. We're going to regrow the Giant Growth. Let's pretend there's no mana burn right now. No mana burn in this format. And we have the Giant Growth, and we have the Llanowar Elves, which we could tap for green if we needed to do some fun tricks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're still 1 mana short of Desert Twister, hoping we can cast that. Put our deck over here. We'll pass the turn. Untap our islands, untap our lords. Draw a card. We drew another island, so now we have 6 lands. We can boomerang something, which would be, if they decide to block, we could boomerang that card to their hand. I think we're gonna do that. We'll move to combat. We're gonna put the pressure on. We're gonna Lord, Lord, and Lord. So these are all 4/4s. We're gonna swing with 3 4/4 Lords of Atlantis and see what we do with the green deck. Green deck is going to decide to green deck is going to chump block one of them with the script sprites. And it's going to tap. I think it's going to tap the Landward Elves for green. We're going to Giant Growth the Whirling Dervish, make the Whirling Dervish a 4/4. We're going to block one of these Lord of Atlantises, which is going to kill the Lord of Atlantis. So that goes away. And then the other two are going to get through, but they lose a power and toughness. So they're both 3/3s. And that's going to be game. That's 6 damage. That's going to be game. I guess we could have, yeah, maybe blocked and blocked instead of killing one of them, but that's how it goes. So let's do that. Let's take 6 damage here and say that the Lord of Atlantis deck came out on top here. So now stay tuned for tomorrow's matchup. We're going to match up the mono blue Merfolk versus the Lion Dib Bolt deck. It's looking like mono green is in the bottom tier for old school decks. So we may or may not bring that one to Las Vegas. We'll let you know before we make our final decision. But let me know in the comments below what you thought of this game, how you thought the mono blue Merfolk deck did, and conversely the mono green budget deck as well. Appreciate everybody for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.